Bliss Collective. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning. A happy hump day to all of you. Happy hump day to me. Yay. I love Wednesday, partly because I get to do these live experiences with you, and also because it's just nice to have the little breakup in kind of like the flow of getting things done. Getting things done. Life is too precious and special to be all about being productive and working hard and getting things done. I didn't always think that. That is a new pattern of belief that I am making my new sacred cow. How are you, Bliss Collective? You might notice a change in environment. I am joyfully sitting on my deck. It is a beautiful day in my neighborhood. I hope it's beautiful in yours, the weather notwithstanding. So no matter what's going on outside of you, you do have the power. It's called just making a conscious choice. You do have the power, free will, to choose how you accept what is showing up. And so it is a beautiful day, and regardless of that, I am in the space of creating joy in my life, of being joy from the inside out. So what you're seeing is my outside environment. If you go to my YouTube channel, you will see that I switch back and forth, and sometimes I'm not, I'm on location doing the Hump Day Happy Chat. We're doing the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery on the road, but this is one of my second favorite environments to being, like, in the office, so to speak. But I try to take the office wherever I go in here. So, yay, I'm so happy to be here. And I'm Valerie Shepard. Hope you know that by now. Founder and CEO of the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery, where self-mastery is defined as mastering you in your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way. And I say that from the depth of my being. My life has brought some phenomenal things my way, and some of the phenomenal nature of those things was, wow, this is so cool. And some of the phenomenal nature of those things was, wow, how is this so cool? When am I going to find out what this was all about? So it's not to say that everything is fantastic, because it ain't. It's to say that through self-mastery, I'm able to I'm able to create in spite of. I'm able to be love no matter what. And I'm able to create my own happiness regardless of what's going on in the here and now. So Saturday, just recently, I celebrated the 6-year anniversary of the brain hemorrhage. And that's monumental. So cool. I'm still here. I'm still plugging along. And yeah, that's really victorious. And then I'm also still dealing with a lot from it. Most people can't tell, which is a gift. It's a blessing from the divine. And I know when I can't remember things in my right side, and there are great days when I'm like, all right, it's going away. And then there are days when I'm like, really? I thought I was past this. And I'm sure that your lives, like, Like, this isn't the Olympics of who's dealing with the worst ish, right? It's not about that. It's not about that. It's not the Olympics of suffering. And please don't put yourself in this position. I've heard people say this to me. Oh my God, now that I know what you're going through, my stuff doesn't mean. Yes, it does mean something because it's your stuff. So this is not to say, oh my gosh, if you knew how bad I had it. It's not about that. It's just we all have something. And so self-mastery is about whatever flavor your something is. This place, the Hump Day Habitat, the Bliss Collective, the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery, Living Happy to Be Me, Dancing Your Soul's Lifestyle, all of this is designed to help you transcend and include. Transcendence while including means I'm living it. Don't always know where it's going. Don't always know what's coming next. Know what I'm intending. Know what my heart's desire is. 100% total healing, mind, body, spirit. And I'm in it for the marathon. Bless you. I'm sitting outside so I can hear other people doing things. So anyway, I want to get into our Hump Day Happy Chat. This is all about giving you tips and tools and the wherewithal to create the magnificent life that you desire and that you deserve. As a divine being, it's here available to you at all times. You're just being called to step in. Like, step in. Give it to yourself. Give it to yourself. So I want to talk about today's topic. That was then, this is now, and I'm going that way. That was then, this is now, I'm headed over there. So there have been a lot of things coming up for me lately because of some of the conversations I've been having and the spaces where I am participating. I've got my headset on because it can be loud out here and I wanted you to be able to hear me. But it sometimes slips. Hi, hummingbird. That's one of the really cool things I like about sitting outside. The hummingbird feeder is right there, and I put up a bouquet of flowers to kind of shield me from the feeder so they don't see me and they can enjoy their munching out without saying, oh, there's a human. But I love to greet them, and sometimes they fly up and then they go, oh, like, holy crap, and then they fly away. It's the most precious thing. Sometimes they come right here, so hopefully they do, so you get to see them. I'm always saying, come closer, come closer. So I've been thinking about a couple of things. So when I think about that was then and this is now, I think about this. There's some statements in the manifesto of our tribe that is all about glorious living, magnificent living, bliss-filled living. We're in the Bliss Collective, right? And so part of what we're doing is also looking at pretty, it can feel very mundane. When you talk about bliss, a lot of people think it's like magic and miracles, and it truly is. It truly is that. But how is that created? How is that created? It's from the constitution of us. It's from us being in our high vibration. It's from us choosing it, constantly choosing it, consciously choosing it over and over and over. So that means, what does that mean? Consciously choosing it. It means noticing what's coming up and deciding, is this really real and true? Is this the ultimate truth, the deepest truth? Is this something from the now, or is this something from another time altogether? So I heard this story, and I thought it was a really cool story. I didn't agree with the way where it ended up, so I thought I would bring it in today. So I want to tell this story. So this is the story about two different sons of the same parent, and this particular parent was angry. Hi, bird. This particular parent was angry, mean, was influenced by alcohol all the time, would be considered the label of alcoholic or drunk. He was mean. Um, he didn't treat either of his sons very well. And as soon as they could, as you would expect, they left. They got themselves out of there, which is beautiful. So one of the sons becomes the next generation drunk. He drinks all the time. He's not really taking care of himself. He doesn't really have the wherewithal. Not making money, not creating a life that's really worth living. And when he's asked, why do you drink so much? Why do you drink to excess? Why are you being this person? His answer is that his father was an alcoholic, and that's all he knows. And whether you like that answer or don't like that answer doesn't matter, because that was his answer. That's where he is in the story. And then there's the other son. Now some believe, and this is my belief, two children in the same household are not raised by the same parents, because the parents are changing and the children are changing, but the dynamics were similar. So they were raised under dynamics that were similar, they were the same. So this other son did something completely different. He worked hard. He made something of himself. He had a career. He created a family. And he never drank. He refused to drink. Now, when this son was asked, hey, we're out celebrating a work victory, and you're not drinking, and we never see you drink. Why don't you drink? What do you think his answer was? If you said it was the same, you're pretty close. He said, because my father was an alcoholic, and I'm determined to not be like him, even though that was all I knew. So you have one son saying, he made me in his image. That's him, my father, right? He showed me only that, and that's all I took away. And then you have the other son saying, he showed me all that, only that, that's all I took away, and I'm not going to be that. So notice it's the same story being used sort of the same way. And so people would say, who's right? And I would say, some would say, well, it's the one who says he's not going to drink because he refuses to become like this parent. And I would say, actually, neither one's right. And this is why. While one of them has resisted the energy and the training or what he saw of this parent in his formative years, creating an idea of what is so, they're both in resistance. They're both making choices from a deep-seated past wound. Do you get that? They're both making choices. Now they're making different choices in the here and now, but they're really not in the here and now. As long as you're standing in the here and now, making choices that are 100% fueled by what you received in the past or what you didn't receive in the past, how you were harmed, what was difficult, the deep-seated wounding. One of my teachers would call that woundology. As long as your woundology is driving your choices in the present, you're not in the present. You're not free. You are shackled to that old energy. And it's following you everywhere you go. Every time someone asks you why you don't drink, you're telling the story of your deep-seated past. You're anchored to your past. Do you see that? Can you feel that? Stop for a second and see if you can connect to a way that you're dragging around your ball and chain. anchored in a past moment that is still controlling, dictating the you that you're choosing to be in the present moment. And you think you're making a conscious choice, but in fact, you're potentially anchored in the not self. You're potentially anchored in past moments. You're potentially anchored in places that aren't serving you. And your energy is not pure. And you can't get to bliss when you're anchored in wounds. So here's what you do. Whenever you notice, first, you're always going to hear me say this over and over again. I lived most of my life asleep at the wheel, and I talk about this in my book, and I talk about this in my retreats and workshops and here in the Bliss Collective and in the Hump Day Happy Chat. Number one thing you have to do, and I am saying you have to do this if you want to live in bliss. You have to notice yourself in your life. You have to get curious about, why do I do it that way? What's this disturbance that I'm feeling? What's this perturbation, as my dearest friend, Dr. Sean, beautiful teacher, founder of Project Forgive, what's this perturbation? What is this feeling that I have? Why am I feeling so uncomfortable around alcohol? Is it really that I can't handle it and I refuse to drink because I don't want to be like that? Or is there something else that's being called, I'm being called into doing, into noticing, into being because of the presence of alcohol? It's not freedom if you're just shackled to something else. So what's your deepest driver, your deepest intent? Noticing is the first thing. You've got to notice the disturbance. You've got to notice the sadness. And instead of running away like, oh my God, here it comes, I don't want to relive that moment. I just entreat you, and I encourage and invite you to release that fear and move forward into creating a relationship, creating a loving, curious relationship with what would happen if I stepped a little bit closer into this, wow, all I knew was alcoholism. And how am I feeling when I think about that? And when I relate deeply to the memory of that, the traumatic, tragic, atrocious behavior that I was subjected to through no fault of my own. Get curious about whether you're kind of missing new prison walls that you're putting yourself in by the way you've walked out of the old prison walls. The object here, freedom, emotional freedom, is not about trading one prison for another. The object is to trade, like liberate yourself from any form of prison that might be holding you back, keeping you down. The emotional freedom is about being able to courageously and at a moment's notice make a decision that serves you in the present, from only the present, from the wisdom that you've already incorporated into your psyche, into your emotional house, into your soul being self, like already incorporated, while you're also open to what else wants to become a part of the magnificence of the beingness that I am. Making peace with the past is not about shutting things out. It's not about shutting the past out. It's about purifying your energetic vibration. And purifying your energetic vibration in the present moment is about releasing the stuff that lowers that vibration in the present moment. And a lot of times, most of the time, the stuff that's lowering your vibration in the present moment has nothing to do with the present moment. It's actually from the past. It's not serving you to be there. So making peace with the past is not about shutting it out. It's about befriending it, no matter how horrible, no matter how horrible, no matter how atrocious, no matter how debilitating, no matter how fear-invoking, no matter what aspects of the past are present, are involved in the situational dynamics of the circumstance that you're healing. Acknowledgement of something doesn't condone it. Acknowledging the pain you went through, the dynamics, doesn't condone it. It simply says, yes, that is what was true then. It sets the foundation to move forward in a different energy, with different agreements, with different actions, with different, what do you call that? Guardrails, with different, the word's not coming to me, with different constitution, with different energy. Still not coming. I'm going to let it go. With a different way of being in that moment. It sets a foundation of saying, okay, I'm going to go forward from here instead of from there. I'm going to make this my starting point instead of this my starting point. Like, you notice you can't even see my hand. That's the low vibration, the low consciousness. Making peace with your past is about healing, forgiving, and quieting its stranglehold on you, where you set your whole life on this house of cards, and then you find out, oh my gosh, I'm still carrying around that old energy and I didn't even know it. It's because I made my whole life about I'm not going to become an alcoholic. Well, that's because I'm mired in the past. Are you with me? Are you feeling like what is true of you? Hello. Thank you for joining me. Please type in the chat so I know you're here, who you are. Thank you so much for being here. And for those of you who join on the replay, please do a hashtag replay. That would be awesome. Remember, you can type your questions, type your comments. It always helps me to know what's going on with you and how I can serve you best. So, a couple stories that I have. I've been reading about, there's been this thing going on in Germany with the country of Namibia in Africa. Namibia once occupied by Germany, late 1800s, early 1900s, and there were some amazingly atrocious behaviors perpetrated on the two main tribes in Namibia, and they are genocide. They are genocidal. There were specific orders given from German leaders to annihilate the tribes, and their land was stolen from them. And to this day, like in 2021, the land is still occupied, owned, lived on by German families, German businesses. And the Namibian descendants of the people who were killed and put in mass graves, and some really horrible things, like the people in the internment camps were made to clean the skulls of their dead relatives, friends, tribespeople, so that their skulls could be sent to German physicians to do racial studies on them to prove that what is never going to be able to be proven because it's not true, that there's a difference between the races. Germany has come forward and since like 2016 acknowledged it was genocidal behavior and is looking at what more, like the country wants reparations and Germany's trying to figure out how to do that, And the whole point is not whether that's right, or it's not about getting into the politics of the reparations. It's an example of where the past can't be erased and nobody's asking for it to. And acknowledgement doesn't condone the past, yet acknowledgement sets the stage for how to go forward. So, how is that happening for me? There are places where I feel like I'm being called into acknowledging my own dynamics, my own situational dynamics, maybe ones that I didn't think I did it very well. Um, Places where I was harmed or I harmed others. So, my acknowledgement of it is the way that I let myself out of the negative spiral, the downward emotional spiral of blame and shame and guilt and resentment and anger. Low vibration energy you cannot create bliss in the midst of a prison of low vibration energy. Can't happen. There is no bridge. Like Martin Luther King Jr. would say, you cannot create love from hate. Only love creates love. So forgiveness creates being forgiven. And so making peace with the past doesn't erase it. It's up to you to live freer in the present and the future. And so let's do this right now. We're going to do something right now. On our Bliss Collective manifesto, there is a declaration that I love. Well, I love all of them, but one of the declarations is, I am emotionally free. Yes, and bliss can survive and get juicy in the experience of emotional freedom. So when you hear me say, I'm wishing you peace, love, joy, and freedom, it's not geopolitical freedom that I'm talking about. It's emotional freedom. It's freedom from anchors of emotional traumas holding you down. So let's do this in these last few minutes here, and I'll give you the steps. So I practice heart math, and I teach heart math, and I love heart math. And so we're going to do a heart soak now. This is just one way. There are other ways in my book. You can get my book on Amazon. You can get it for free from my website. You don't have to buy it, but you could use the tips and tools that are in it, and I encourage and invite you to do that on my website if you'd like it free. happytobeme.net. So you go into some breathing. So you know that every meditation starts with some centering breath. So you take deep breaths. So right now I encourage and invite you just to breathe. Just breathe deeply in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just let it go. Release, relax, let go. Take another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice evacuating breath. Just keep doing that. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now what you should really feel is everything quieting. Even the connection to outside noises just getting quieter. Releasing, relaxing, letting go. Allow yourself to bring up the disturbance. So for me right now, the disturbance is around a dynamic in a relationship. And I don't know that I did it right. There's a dynamic going on, and I'm feeling some self-judgment. I'm feeling some sadness. I'm feeling that the other person is judging me. And I'm feeling abandonment. And I'm feeling that I don't want it to be that way. Yeah, I'm feeling this face. I'm feeling that face. And right now, I'm going into those feelings and I'm saying hello to them. And I'm thanking them for giving me the opportunity to notice that I'm also judging myself. Giving me the opportunity to notice like some stuff is coming up, not even related to this particular moment, but from the past. In the past where I felt this way, where I felt like I walked alone, where I felt like I wasn't invited in, I wasn't welcome in. And I'm noticing those feelings. And I'm acknowledging them. High feelings, thank you. And I'm pulling all this energy into my heart center. And you might want to put your hand on the center of your chest and your heart center. I'll tilt my screen down so you can see. You might want to put your hands there, especially your right hand, because it's connected to the left side of your brain. The left side of your brain is your logical side. It's your active, masculine, energetic, get it done side, the right hand. And so you might want to put your hand there as a conscious, active motion of healing, self-healing, and listening to the heart, activating your heart energy of love, compassion, generosity, tolerance, magnificence, beauty, acceptance, allowing, and receiving. Receiving. So we take it into the heart, we breathe it into the heart. You might want to say the Ho'oponopono prayer of forgiveness. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Or you might just want to sit there in the energy of forgiveness. I forgive myself. I forgive the other. I forgive everything involved. I am an instrument of forgiveness. I am a receptacle for forgiveness. I am emanating forgiveness. I am being forgiveness and compassion. Then the next thing you want to do is welcome the gift that comes from the circumstance. This can be difficult for people who aren't able or maybe even willing to notice that there's something inside the situation, as whatever label you want to put on it, as horrible or atrocious, that I can take away. So from every situation in my life, I am creating the muscle memory of how to see what's in it for me. Even the stroke, even potentially getting fired, even that every circumstance that I've had, and there have been some difficult ones beyond this brain hemorrhage, that I've had to, oh wow, that's why this showed up. Like, to be open to receive it. Welcome the gift. And you might do that by just saying, I am willing to receive the opening this circumstance is providing me. I am willing to grow in myself. I am willing to receive the newness that this is giving me to make conscious choices in my life for who I want to be and how I want to be that person. I am willing. Breathe. And you may have felt it right then. You may not feel it till you've done it a couple of more times. But what always happens for me is I feel an opening. And the opening might be as tiny as a contraction in your heart releases just a little bit. That's an opening. It doesn't have to floodgate open. Like, yeah, I'm ready to receive anything. It might just be the tiniest crack, the tiniest little bit of an opening where you can say, I felt that. And even if you don't fully feel it, you could just say, I am ready to receive the opening from this circumstance. I forgive myself and everyone involved. And in that forgiveness, I give way to the opening that allows me to spiral up in my consciousness, to be more love, to be more light, to be more compassion for myself first and foremost, to love myself more and better and deeper, so that can stay, that was then my past, and I can deliver myself unto emotional freedom. I am emotionally free. I can declare myself emotionally free. I will tell you, You may have to do this over and over. In my life, my circumstances, I continue to make peace with my past. I continue to make peace with misunderstandings, with dynamics. The other day, I felt energy moving around this idea that I'm not lovable. Nobody ever told me that. That was a misunderstanding I took away from the way things were unfolding in my life, that I'm not lovable, and that I'm a soul incarnated into a black body. Social consciousness has a lot to say about black bodies. And I took away that I'm not lovable. And I know that's not true. It is a part of my past. It is even a part of my past belief system, not just the past that was on me. I believed it. And I'm still healing that. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to feel the opening. And I've gotten so accomplished at it that I can feel the energy moving. I've gotten so accomplished at it that I can say certain things that in the past would have brought up a lot of anguish and tears and frustration and sadness and anger and rage and resentment. And now I can be very neutral, and I can say it. I can say I spend a lot of time alone without feeling lonely. I can say I don't always belong. I don't always feel like I belong here, but I don't always feel like I belong without feeling sadness, like somebody's keeping me out. I just know that's a part of my past. And I'm willing to be in 100% connection and relationship with my past. So that was then, this is now. Again, acknowledgement doesn't mean I push it away. It means I transcend while I include it. That's how we take all of our ancestors with us everywhere we go. That's how we're always in connection with our loved ones, whether they're actually here in the physical or not. We include them. So if we want to include them, we have to include everything. Everything. Take another deep breath. Let yourself come back into the here and now. So I'm going to close this Hump Day Happy Chat, this consciousness rising conversation, with the Karanaya Metta Sutra, the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha. I always close these conversations that way. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. Happy, happy Hump Day. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. Your true nature is not bound by your wounds. It's not bound by the misunderstandings. It's not bound by the mistakes. Your true nature is huge. It's magnificent, no matter what. You always are that, no matter what. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. All beings includes you and me. And may all beings be free. Free from the past, trying to anchor you in this place of I am not that. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you. Remember, you can ask me questions. I will answer them. I love being in service to you. And let's get this Bliss Collective going. And our reminder that we will be here live to say hello and do a live Q&A session this coming Friday. And the invitation is in the on the wall. I can't think of what it is. And an invitation should have been sent to you from inside the Bliss Collective. Many blessings. Thank you so much for being here. Have a hump day. Make it a fantastic day that you love living. Go after your bliss. Thank you for being here. Bye now.